In every sport, there are games fans argue about forever. Bad calls, missed calls, strange moments, weird timing. But in NBA history, there is one game that still lives in a different category. Game 6, Lakers versus Kings, 2002 Western Conference Finals. To some fans, this was just a brutally physical playoff game where the better team survived. To others, this was the night Sacramento got robbed in front of the entire basketball world. And the reason this story will not die is because the box score does something dangerous. It makes people ask questions. The Lakers won the game 106-102. But the number everyone remembers is not the final score. It is this: 27 free throws in the fourth quarter. Not for both teams, for the Lakers. And when you combine that with foul trouble, controversial no calls, a series that was one win away from ending, and later allegations from former NBA referee Tim Donaghy, you get one of the most debated games in league history. So today, we are going behind the story. Not to scream rigged just because fans are angry. Not to defend the NBA just because time has passed. But to ask the only question that matters: what really happened that night? To understand why this game still hurts Sacramento fans, you have to understand who the Kings were. This was not a cute little team that got lucky. The 2001 to 2002 Sacramento Kings were a problem. Chris Webber was one of the most skilled big men in basketball. Mike Bibby was fearless. Vlade Divac was crafty. Peja Stojakovic could shoot the lights out. Doug Christie defended. Bobby Jackson brought energy. And as a team, they played beautiful basketball. The Kings moved the ball before it was trendy. They cut. They passed. They trusted each other. They were not just trying to beat the Lakers. They were trying to prove that the Lakers dynasty could actually be stopped. And on the other side, you had the most dominant duo in basketball, Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. The Lakers had already won back-to-back championships. They had Phil Jackson. They had star power. They had the biggest market. And they had the aura. When the Lakers walked into a playoff series, it felt like the NBA Finals were already waiting for them. But Sacramento did not care. Through 5 games of the Western Conference Finals, the Kings had the Lakers on the edge. Sacramento led the series 3-2. One more win, and the Lakers dynasty would be in real trouble. One more win, and the Kings would be going to the NBA Finals. That is what made Game 6 so dangerous. Because if Sacramento wins, there is no Game 7. There is no dramatic finish. There is no extra national TV spectacle. There is no Lakers comeback story, just the Kings ending the dynasty, and then the fourth quarter started. Game 6 was played in Los Angeles. The Kings were trying to close the series. The Lakers were trying to survive. And for most of the night, it felt like a war. Every possession mattered. Every whistle mattered. Every rebound mattered. Then the game reached the fourth quarter, and suddenly, the conversation stopped being about basketball. It became about the whistle. The Lakers went to the free throw line again, and again, and again. By the end of the quarter, Los Angeles had attempted 27 free throws in the fourth quarter alone. That is the number that still makes fans pause. 27. In one quarter. In an elimination game. Against a team trying to close out a dynasty. And Sacramento fans were not just mad about the number, they were mad about the kind of calls. Big men getting whistled. Physical plays going one way. Contact on one end getting ignored, while contact on the other end sent the Lakers to the line. Vlade Divac fouled out. Scott Pollard fouled out. Sacramento's front court was getting stripped down possession by possession. And when your opponent has Shaq on the floor, losing big bodies is not a small problem. It changes everything. Because now, every defensive possession becomes survival. You cannot defend aggressively. You cannot contest the same way. You cannot take the same risks. And once a team starts playing defense scared, the whole game changes. But if there is one play that lives in the memory of this game, it is the Mike Bibby moment. Late in the game, Bibby is defending Kobe Bryant. Kobe turns, there is contact. Bibby catches an elbow to the face. Bibby goes down. And the whistle, not on Kobe. The foul is called on Bibby. Now, if you are a Lakers fan, you may say playoff basketball is physical. You may say players sell contact. You may say the game was chaotic and refs miss things. Fair. But if you are a Kings fan, that moment is the whole game in one clip. A Sacramento player takes contact to the face, and somehow Sacramento gets punished. That is the kind of play that turns a bad officiating night into a conspiracy, because fans can forgive a missed call. they have a harder time forgiving a pattern. And by the end of that fourth quarter, Kings fans did not feel like they had watched a few bad calls. They felt like they had watched a pattern. Now, this is where we have to slow down, because saying a game was badly officiated is one thing. Saying a game was fixed is something else. And if we are going to do this right, we have to separate emotion from evidence. The Lakers still had Shaq, and Shaq was almost impossible to officiate. He was so strong that defenders fouled him constantly just trying to survive. He also created situations where referees had to make difficult decisions every possession. Was that a foul? Was he initiating contact? Was the defender holding? Was Shaq clearing space? A lot of Shaq possessions lived in the gray area, so some free throws were explainable. Also, Sacramento had chances to end this series before Game 6. Game 4 ended with Robert Horry hitting one of the most famous shots of his career. If the Kings secure that rebound, the series may look completely different. Then in Game 7, Sacramento was back at home. They had another chance, and they did not take it. The Kings shot poorly from the free throw line. They struggled from three. The game went to overtime, and the Lakers won 112-106. That matters, because if we are being fair, Sacramento was not helpless. They had chances. They had moments. They had opportunities to close the door. But here is why the controversy does not disappear. A team can miss opportunities and still be wronged. Both can be true. The Kings could have played better, and the officiating in Game 6 could still be suspicious. That is what makes this story so hard to kill. Years later, the controversy came back in a way nobody could ignore. Former NBA referee Tim Donaghy, who became infamous for his role in a betting scandal, made allegations about NBA officiating. In court-related documents, Donaghy claimed that two referees worked to extend a 2002 playoff series to a seventh game. The teams were not named directly, but ESPN reported that the description strongly pointed to Lakers-Kings Game 6, and that changed everything. Because now the conversation was not just fans yelling at old footage. Now there was a former NBA referee making claims that matched one of the league's most suspicious games. But there is a problem, a big one. Donaghy was not exactly a clean source. He was a disgraced referee connected to gambling. That means some people believe he was exposing the truth. Others believe he was trying to shift blame, sell a story, or damage the league that punished him. That is why this case is so messy. If Donaghy had never said anything, Game 6 would still be controversial. But after his allegations, the game became part of a bigger question: how much control does the league have over its own product? This is where the story becomes less about one whistle and more about the business of sports. Because even without proving a fix, fans understand incentives. The Lakers were a global brand. Kobe and Shaq were must-see television. Los Angeles was a massive market. A Game 7 between the Lakers and Kings was a bigger event than the series ending in 6. And the winner would face the New Jersey Nets in the finals. No disrespect to the Nets, but a Lakers finals appearance was a different kind of television product. That does not prove anything illegal happened, but it explains why fans were suspicious. Fans know the NBA is not just a sport. It is also entertainment. It is business. It is ratings. It is star power. It is storylines. And when the whistles in a crucial game seem to benefit the team with the bigger stars, people are going to ask questions. That does not mean the answer is always corruption, but it does mean trust matters. Because once fans believe the league benefits from a certain outcome, every questionable call becomes evidence in their mind. The 2002 Kings never got their championship moment. The Lakers went on, the NBA moved on. But fans did not. Because Game 6 became bigger than one series. It became the game people bring up whenever they think the league wants a certain outcome. And here is the part that should make every NBA fan uncomfortable. This is not the only game with a story like this. There are frozen envelopes, suspicious suspensions, lottery rumors, superstar whistles, and playoff series where the numbers still do not feel right. So the real question is not just whether Lakers-Kings was fixed. The real question is, how many times has the NBA given fans a reason to wonder? What do you all think? Was it all a coincidence, or was it rigged? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you want more stories like this, subscribe to Behind the Story Files, because every headline has a backstory, and some stories are still waiting to be reopened.